Mara, what's your
See,
topic?
my topic was take an animated show,
Mm-hmm.
any of your choosing.
Mm-hmm.
It's becoming a live action show. Who are you casting as main cast?
Got you. Want us to go first, or you want to go first?
Uh, you guys go first.
Okay.
I want to hear what you got.
I'll go ahead and go because I brought visual aids.
Oh, nice.
Because this is a show that has the main cast is kind of extensive. Um, but the animated show that I chose was the '90s animated hit Gargoyles.
That's very you.
Okay, fair.
That's a
I have
very
wanted
you.
a live action version of this show for years. And when I say years, I mean at least 10 of them. And the idea of just what it is, how it could work, set right in your backyard, Mar, right up there in New York, all of that. Basically, the concept is there's these, gargoyles. You're, during the day, they turn to stone, but at night, they're these big winged monsters and all that kind of stuff. A spell got cast on them 1,000 years ago that froze them in stone even when nighttime came and all that until somehow the castle that they lived in rose above the clouds. And this rich dude named Xanatos found a way to make that happen, basically spending a shit ton of money to move the castle to New York and put it on the top of his high-rise building so it was above the clouds. And that night, they awoke again. And now they're in modern day New York and shit. So there are numerous characters here that we'd have to talk about. There's the main gargoyles and there's a couple of humans. So we'll start here. They're in no particular order. Well, they're kind of in alphabetical order, actually. That's just the way the photo gallery put them together. This is Broadway. Okay. He's kind of the comic relief of the group. Loves to eat, as you can probably see here. What gets him in trouble a lot of times is he sees delicious food and all that kind of stuff. But the actor I have playing him, I'm assuming this is going to be some motion capture kind of thing and all that as well, full performance capture. I went with Craig Robinson for him. Big, lovable guy, bring the comedy and all that. This is Brooklyn. By the way, all these gargoyles are named after like boroughs and stuff in New York, except for one. Well, except
Broadway. Broadway's not.
Well, Broadway's a street though, so
I live off of Broadway.
Yeah, it's all like they're all named after places in New York except for two of them.
Yeah.
And that's because they got their names at other times. Before this, also, none of the gargoyles actually had names. They just called each other friend and all that, except for the two main ones that we're going to talk about in a second. But this is Brooklyn. He's basically what would, in this time, like the second in command. So I needed somebody that can kind of embrace that, but also, have that next man up kind of thing to him, but also have some attitude, some fun, and all that. And I chose Lakeith Stanfield for him. Y'all might know him. He was in Get Out. He also was in
Atlanta.
Yeah. What was that recent movie where he was like in the time with Jesus and all that kind of shit? God damn it, I can't remember the name of the movie.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I can't remember. And I liked the movie a lot. I can't remember. But anyway, Lakeith Stanfield. That's what I went with there. And then we come to David Xanatos. This dude, I had to get somebody that can embody this whole. This dude is, you're a rich prick, but I still kind of like you and I hate it. Like, it's just like, it's one of those things like, yo, I hate you so much, but you still so fucking cool. So fuck you. But like, anyway, so him, I went with George Clooney because I feel like he can embody that perfectly. Because I imagine, speaking of, who played Batman and all that kind of stuff, his Batman in Batman and Robin felt like that to me. And I feel like he could pull that off as David Xanatos. This is Demona, one of the two main gargoyles who, like I said, is not named after somewhere in New York. She's actually not a good guy, like at all. She's actually the main gargoyle's like was his love interest before she turned bad and all that. But for her, I went with Lupita Nyong'o because I needed somebody who can still, who can be powerful enough to stand toe to toe with who I have playing the main gargoyle. And I think she'd be perfect for that. And then this is Elisa Maza. She's one of the other human that's like the main cast. She's a detective. She's, in New York, she's their only real friend.
She gives Carmen Sandiego vibes.
Yeah, I guess
she definitely looks like a modern Carmen Sandiego.
So yeah, I went with Rosario Dawson for her.
That tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And then the head nigga in charge. This is Goliath. And for Goliath, I've got Idris Elba playing him. Because I need somebody that can have a powerful presence, who can be that leader, and give off that vibe. So I went with Goliath. And then we have Hudson. He's the older dude. He's the older gargoyle. He's, Goliath's mentor. He was the leader of the clan before Goliath took over and all that. And I needed somebody older, somebody who can, give off that elder statesman thing, but also be kind of gruff because he's got the strong Scottish accent in the show. So I went with Russell Crowe.
I can see it.
And he's going to be Hudson. This is Lexington. He's, the smallest gargoyle of the bunch, but he's also a genius. He's like from 1,000 years ago, but figures out all the modern technology, and he's almost better at it than most geniuses of modern times. So I needed somebody who can, embody this smaller person, but also give off that vibe of, yeah, I'm smarter than all of you. And I went with the Dinkles, Peter Dinklage, to play Lexington here. And I believe that's the last one. Yeah, that's the last gargoyle. So that's my show, live action gargoyles.
Nice. Mm-hmm. How about you, Will?
All right. I also have a visual aid.
Oh, cool.
If one of you want to bring it up. My animated show, Bob's Burgers. Okay. Let's see if can you see my clicker? Okay, good. You can. I'm going to do Bob last. First and foremost, Teddy. Mm-hmm. For those of you who don't know Bob's Burgers is the story of a family who owns a burger restaurant, and their house and apartment is directly above it, and they own the building. And it's the struggles of, running a semi-successful restaurant that barely gets by, their life in the city, right? Mm-hmm. Teddy is the regular that sits at the bar. He's like the handyman for the restaurant. He takes care of shit for the Belchers, which is the family. I have Kevin James playing Teddy, the guy from King of Queens. I was like, that makes sense. Louise Belcher, she's semi-crazy, a little bit of a pyro. Casting the younger kids were the hardest part. The 3 adults came fairly easy. The kids were a little bit tougher. For Louise, I have Violet McGraw. She played the main character in the movie Megan.
Okay.
So, she can be that really abstract, normal, but just enough to not be normal to where you're like, something's weird about that one. So I was like, again, the kids were tough. For Gene, the dude who played Bran Stark, Isaac Hempstead Wright. I had to look his name up because I couldn't remember. And again, picking the kids were tough. So I was like, somebody who's I want to say the lovable idiot. Mm-hmm. The moments where you're like, man, Gene is a genius. And then later that episode, he's eating dish soap, and you're like, that was far. I was
he's eating dish soap because it had a little bit of bacon grease in the tub. That's the thing. It's one of those things.
He'll hit you some with really deep wisdom, and then you're like, damn, he's not a nit. Nope, there he is.
That's the thing about Gene. It's just because it's he'll do the dumbest shit, but he actually does have a reason behind it. It's a dumbass reason, but he actually has a reason. And it's just okay, dude.
For Tina, the eldest of the kids, Bella Ramsey, because I feel like Bella Ramsey could play a very good like mid-teen angst, like almost like a young Daria. You know, like she's very socially awkward. Like she's got
Lady
a meme
Mormont,
where
right?
she's trying to learn how to twerk, which is hilarious.
Talking
What'd
about
you
Lady
say?
Mormont, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Last of Us. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, she could, I feel
Ellie
like
from
she could
Last
do
of
it.
Us, Lady Mormont, yeah.
Correct.
Gotcha.
For Bob Belcher and Linda Belcher, the mom and the dad. Linda, you know, a New Yorker running a burger stand. She's got that thick accent. I said Fran Drescher right off the rip. She's the one that's the least modern. And then I've been watching Ted Lasso. So Jason Sudeikis plays Bob Belcher. So that was mine, Bob Belcher. The Bob's Burgers and the Belcher family.
Nice.
I like that.
I also have visual aid.
Okay.
We all came with homework. That's awesome. I can't really take credit for that. I pulled mine up as soon as Travis said it. I found a picture.
Same thing.
Well, mine, I feel like it was necessary because I'm like, I know y'all don't know the Gargoyles characters like I do, so it's just like
I knew most of what you were saying, but honestly, dude, like halfway through it, I was like, Travis is fucking prepped. Like,
Yeah.
he's on top of it.
That's how you get to be host. All right. So I chose Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Me, what? No.
Dude,
And
I
so
love Aqua Teen.
I'll start with Carl. You can see him. For Carl, I said Sacha Baron Cohen, the guy who plays
Borat?
Borat. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I know he would be able to transfigure his body to look just like this.
He would make it work.
And also like ramble like Carl does. Because also like if they were to redo the episode of Hand Banana, that shit would be insane. I feel like he would be the most welcoming to it. Dr. Weird, who you kind of see in like the first season, and we kind of don't see him for a few other seasons later on, but he's still part of the show. I said Will Ferrell. Just because I feel like he would play this kind of crazy.
He can do that. He can pull that off pretty well.
Ignat and who are the Moonanites, would be Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum. And specifically because I like how they work off of each other in 21 Jump Street. So I was just like, this would be like a great them together. But then for the big three, for Master Shake, I would say Tom Segura.
Okay.
And then Frylock would be Tyler Jesse Williams.
Okay. Yeah.
He's in
Everybody
Abbott
Hates Chris.
and Abbott Elementary, was on Walking Dead too. And then Meatwad would be Seth Rogen.
Okay. Okay.
Pick. Yes.
I was waiting this whole time to see who you picked for Meatwad. Like that was really like...
Meatwad was probably the hardest because I was like, Meatwad's kind of an idiot, but he's like a lovable idiot, and I was just like, since I already gave Tom Segura to Master Shake, I was just like, who else could I go with? And I was just like,
Burt Kreischer.
Burt Kreischer would be great Meatwad.
Oh, that would be. Burt Kreischer would also make a great Carl.
Oh yeah.
I actually might like him more than I like Sacha Baron Cohen.
That's a great pick though, because you're right. Like he would become Carl.
Yeah.
He would watch like 3 episodes and be like, yeah,
I got this.
I got this.
But that was my pick.
Good shit.